Bob Vylan. Welcome to the Wall of Fame. We're down in Partick today, West End, to deliver Bob Vylan to Wall of Fame. Let's have a wee chit chat about his actions and why he needs to be Wall of Fame. Okay. Bob Vylan, he calls himself a punk musician. There's nothing punk about him whatsoever. He is just basically taken to the platform stage to yell some extreme, profane and unreversible remarks, The thing about going to Glastonbury, it should never be a situation where it's a political indoctrination campaign. It should be generally about going somewhere, disconnecting from reality, enjoy live music, enjoy getting pissed, stoned, drugged or whatever, maybe meeting somebody round the back of fucking Portaloos, fucking them stupid, and just generally having a great old time. But Bob Vylan has unfortunately turned it into a woke, can we call it progressive, indoctrination camp, telling people to chant ridiculous things like death to the... I'm not going to use the rest of the phrase. Is chanting Free Palestine, and he's using that phrase, the from wherever to wherever, knowing that the latter phrase has been used against Jewish people. He's a silly boy, and for quite a long time, Mr. Bob Vylan, or whatever you want to call him, I call him shite on a bloody napkin. Right, there we go. His new name is shite on a napkin. Right, and he was punting these political phrases, telling people, various groups of people should die, and then there was a new phrase out there with regards to the police. Yeah, ironically, he's that kind of worst cunt, and I just called him worst cunt, right? He's that type of worst cunt. See if anyone disagrees with him on a Facebook status or a Twitter thread, 999 all the fucking time, because he doesn't have the brain power to actually go, okay, someone's disagreeing with me, but it doesn't need to go to a police matter. And this is why the police system is choked. I was actually talking to a civil enforcement officer in Glasgow, and she was saying one of her cases she actually had to refer to the police for assistance. And I said, is that a quick response or a slow response? And she says, well, if you mean quick, possibly about September, October. If it's a slow response, maybe January or February. So yeah, there's real-time consequences for misusing the police system to get one up on somebody just because of an online disagreement, or if, let's say, Jack Doe has been giving it rough to somebody, and Jeff Doe exposes Jack Doe for their poor behaviour towards him, and there's a what's the word for it? Disapproval of things being made public, and then the police get involved, and then when the police realise what it is, they turn their backs and go, we wash our hands of this. But inherently, because this kind of weird millennialist type behaviour, serious matters that e.g. housing officers, fine on our daily duty, don't get listened to by the police for months on end, and things that could have been actually quickly dealt with by the police before it got actually to a serious matter. Unfortunately, by the time the police come around, it is a serious matter, but they don't have time to deal with it, and the CCTV hard drives get deleted due to GDPR policy, blah blah blah, and the case comes to an end. Yeah, I realise I've done some quite rant here, but ultimately this is where things are at. You know, Bob Vylan and his freakiness at Glastonbury, these obscene rants and chants are not helping anybody anytime soon. And the audience are chatting away, shouting whatever they want. Do they actually know what they're chanting? Do they know what it stands for? No, none to the latter, sadly enough. And that's just the way things go. And this is why Bob Vylan personally is going to the wall of fame, because he's indoctrinating groups of people to say various severe and damaging remarks, knowing that none of the people at Glastonbury or the people that are watching know what Bob's talking about. So yeah, it's basically if you want to know the phrase, it's the smiling assassin all over again, rinse and repeat. And unfortunately, nobody's informed enough to know what Bob Vylan's actually telling them to shout. Because knowing everyone's luck, if they got knowing what Bob Vylan was actually wanting out of this, people would wash their hands of Bob and tell him to go back and get a real job. And he certainly is not a punk. He's a prick. The words are very similar, I suppose, but let's settle and be firm on this one. Bob Vylan is a prick because he's shite at Glastonbury. Now, partly in recent times I've been able to find out Bob Vylan's lewd chanting, Glastonbury wasn't his first rodeo. He's done it elsewhere, but he didn't get such a big, reception. But because of Glastonbury, he has a very good response, in all honesty. But such a good response, Bob Vylan is actually getting investigated by the police. And the footage of Glastonbury featuring Bob Vylan is getting dropped, it's getting deleted. He's been barred out of America. So yeah, things are slowly... what goes around comes around is the phrase I'm thinking of at this point in time. And just as a kind of closing couple of seconds, I've got to say, right, Bob Vylan is a prick. Bob Vylan, welcome to the Wall of Fame.